That is correcto. You are listening to Talon Talk on AFN Osan, the Eagle, serving you America's best. My name is Army Sergeant Aaron Lloyd. It is 2:07 on this Wednesday, February 25th. I'm very happy you could be joining us here at AFN Osan, and also joining me in the studio, Army Sergeant Jesse Smith, back at it. Appreciate you coming on board.
Yeah, of course. Great to be here.
We're here from Two-Cab Land. Is that what we were calling it last time?
Yeah, Two-Cab Land.
Two-Cab Land, second to none.
Second to none.
Last week we had, I think, a record like 11 times when we said second to none. I think we counted 11.
Was that with Captain Meyer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we really wanted to beat it, we could, but I think we might tone it down this week.
Yeah, we'll try not to be as annoying with the second to nones. But Army Sergeant Smith, I appreciate you being here. For someone who's maybe never listened to the show before, who are you and what is it that you do?
I'm Army Sergeant Jesse Smith. I work in the Two-Cab Public Affairs Office, and we just come in here, and today I'm going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to be talking about dogs, which everyone loves.
Seriously, and if they don't, they're not American.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
And then we're going to be talking about volunteering, another thing everyone loves.
Yes.
And then we're going to be talking about an upcoming training event, which everybody
loves? Question mark?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. We'll go
I mean,
with it.
at least they should, because it makes, out here we're preparing to fight tonight.
It's kind of what we raised our right hand for, right?
Exactly.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So we got lots of stuff on the show for you, the listener, but for now, let's play some music, because I know you don't want to just hear us talk and talk and talk. Let's play some brand new music by Modest Mouse. This is Lampshades on Fire.
And now, back to Talon Talk on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.
Welcome back to Talon Talk. My name is Army Sergeant Aaron Lloyd, and instead of introducing my guest once again, I'll let him introduce himself.
Sergeant Jesse Smith from Two-Cab Land here.
He is here from Two-Cab Land. This is Talon Talk. If you've never listened to the show in the past, shame on you. Maybe you're living under a rock. It's a great show. We do it every single Wednesday. Around 2, sometimes it changes depending on people's that come in, but usually at this time. And if you listen in on past shows, I think I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, we had Army First Lieutenant Amanda O'Leary in, and she was talking about a very special dog she has and kind of a program of sorts that she's involved with. If you missed that, maybe Sergeant Smith, you can fill in the listener.
Yeah, First Lieutenant Amanda O'Leary, she's the Two-Cab Medical Operations Officer. So she came on a couple weeks ago and talked about her dog Marley, who was rescued from a meat market here in Korea.
Sure.
And well, actually, no. It was her dog's mother was rescued from and father were rescued from a meat market and ended up having 9 puppies, and she
Marley was
one of them.
Yeah, Marley's one of them.
Yep. And he's half Jindo, half Lab, and she really.
Would that be a Lindo? Trying to think of what they would be called. A Lindo. I like that.
A Lindo or a
jab.
Jam.
A jab.
Jab. No,
I like Lindo.
Yeah, Lindo's better.
We'll go with that.
But she brought him into staff duty, and she saw how soldiers were reacting to him and would actually make it a point to go and see him. So she thought that he would be great for like a sort of pet visitation program.
Sure.
And so she started contacting different people that she knew and found about a Red Cross pet visitation program. So she's trying to get him certified for it right now.
Sure.
And she actually told us about a Sergeant First Class Dwayne Harrison.
Okay.
And I got in contact with him, and he is actually part of the program already.
What?
And he was able to set it up where I got to go and be on one of the visits that he does with this group every.
Sure.
He said every quarter.
So at least for now.
Yeah, they're hoping to do it more often in the future. But I was able to go, and it was him, another soldier, and then 2 civilians, all with their personally owned dogs that have gone through the certification through the Red Cross already. And we just walked around the super hangar on Camp Humphreys, and just went and visited the soldiers and civilians. It was funny because Sergeant First Class Harrison was telling me that the Korean civilians usually don't like being around the dogs. They're kind of shy and tend to stay away from them.
Do you think it's because of the type of dog or just culturally speaking?
I think it's culturally speaking.
Interesting.
But it was funny because when I went there, one of the Korean workers actually went up to his dog Lucy, who's a German Shepherd.
Okay.
And just started petting him and just got really excited when he saw him, which made more of the Korean civilian come over and start to interact with him.
So it sounds like a really cool, just like immediate like impact on the morale there, a little morale boost.
It seems like the soldiers really respond to the dogs, and it just makes them more comfortable. And that's what this program's intentions are: is to just make soldiers more comfortable in the workplace.
So my assumption then is that right now it sounds like it's kind of catered to kind of a super hangar of sorts, but they're trying to maybe make that bigger with more pets, more people, etc.
Once it's officially approved by the USAG Humphreys Garrison Commander, they'll be able to hopefully expand. They'll of course have to get permission from each
gotta jump through all the hoops.
Specific organization's leaders, and then once they can do that, then they'll be able to go out and see more soldiers and civilians.
It sounds like an awesome story. It really does. It makes me want to like talk to someone in our shop if they haven't already to kind of do a story, because that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I did a story on both Lieutenant O'Leary and Sergeant Harrison.
Are those online?
Yeah,
for people
you can check them out on our Facebook page. They're linked on there to the Divids where we upload all of our stories.
Great, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, kudos to them and good luck to the program. I'm sure we'll hear more updates as kind of the weeks and months follow.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure we're going to be in contact with Lieutenant O'Leary when she's able to get her dog Marley certified, and maybe we can go see him.
Well, I very much appreciate you sharing that story. It sounds really exciting. We're going to take our first break here. We'll be back in 90 seconds with your weather.
And now, back to Talon Talk on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.
Welcome back, friend. This is Talon Talk, AFN Osan the Eagle, serving America's best. That's our name. Do not wear it out. And still in the studio with me, Army Sergeant Jesse Smith. If you missed the first portion of the show, we're talking about Army First Lieutenant Amanda O'Leary. She's kind of working through the Red Cross there to do this, what would be the official
pet visitation
program over there.
All volunteer.
Yeah, very exciting one. But we want to move into other things, kind of volunteer related, community related. You guys got lots of stuff that you're involved with, and maybe just highlight a few things that have happened currently or in the future.
Yeah, at least once a month, usually even twice. Soldiers from 2CAB volunteer and go on these trips to orphanages or elderly centers and just spend good quality time with the less fortunate here in South Korea. So like a couple weeks ago, we had soldiers volunteer to go to an elderly center.
Sure.
And, they went there. They cleaned. They cleaned the place, just helped out. They raked leaves. They picked up trash, mopped floors, stairwells.
Things that maybe one
like
would think, it doesn't really help them much, right? But I imagine it does, because it takes a little effort to get around and do those things.
I'm sure that they really appreciate it there, especially the workers there who also volunteer. So.
And also, too, like I was just thinking about the idea of cleaning in general, like you're usually going to be in higher spirits if the environment you're in is a little more clean, etc. And if you're maybe elderly, it's maybe going to be a little more difficult for you to move out and about and be able to clean. And they probably spend more time indoors than maybe the youngins left and right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And actually, this past Sunday, we had about 25 soldiers from the 4-2 Attack Reconnaissance Battalion go and visit a Jacobs orphanage.
Okay.
And so it was about, you got anywhere from 1 month old to about 12.
Okay.
And they just played with the kids. They did activities, games. They ate with them. They danced with them.
Yeah.
And then they also helped clean up a little bit. So that's awesome, them going out there. And just that further strengthens our bond with our Korean neighbors. So they're doing awesome things out there.
It really does. And I think you really see that in the community when Koreans will see that Americans want to do something that they don't have to do. but they choose to do.
Yeah, it's volunteering. I think that Korea is probably the best and easiest place to get volunteering. Like, there's so many opportunities. Just even through your unit. I mean, all you need to do is go to your leaders and just be like, hey, I want to volunteer. And I guarantee they'll be able to find something for you to do.
And we sound like a broken record when we talk about volunteering and how great it is and blah, blah, blah. But like, truth be told, unless you actually do it, unless you actually kind of out of the kindness of your heart, sacrifice your delicate, precious free time, there's really nothing like it, because you can see it in people's eyes. You can hear it in the words that they have, that they are truly appreciative that you went out of your way to spend your whatever day, night, morning to help someone out that might be less fortunate, or just to help them out with a community bond.
Yeah, I think the volunteering is probably the most appreciation you're going to get while here in Korea. I mean, just going out into the streets. I mean, nobody's gonna.
Sure.
Really...
So if someone's listening right now, maybe they're stationed at Camp Humphreys and they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, how can I get involved? Or are there a few things that maybe you'd recommend, something like a Jacob's Orphanage, or maybe the Elderly Center, or maybe a person they could go through, or someone they could talk to about that?
Yeah, well, you can always go through Red Cross, obviously. They're probably the top for volunteer programs here. But, I mean, honestly, you could get with Chaplain. Chaplain always has
very good one.
Great opportunities
because they have ties with so many places.
Yeah, that's who I would recommend for people to go through as your chaplain. But honestly, you could ask almost anyone.
You could go through like the USO.
They would be able to tell you.
You go through the USO. I know CAPA, the Korean American Partnership Association. They got stuff every Saturday, every morning of the week as well.
Yeah, and you get like an awesome certificate after getting the certain amount of hours. I can't remember.
It's 40 hours.
40 hours?
Yeah,
okay. So
I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, the takeaway really is there's tons of stuff. Just get involved. It's not like you got to do all your free time with volunteering, but I will promise you, if you start something small volunteering, you're going to want to keep doing it.
Yeah, just anything can help. Anything.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you sharing those stories with the orphanage, the elderly center, and a lot of soldiers taking out time. Kudos to them for taking that precious time to do some volunteering for others. We're going to take our second break here. We got more music on the way. Brand new track by Kid Rock. But first, it's Area 3 Radio News.
And now, back to Talon Talk on AFN the Eagle, serving America's best.
Welcome back to Talon Talk. My name is Army Sergeant Aaron Lloyd. Joining me, Army Sergeant Jesse Smith. We're talking all things 2-cab or 2-cab land, second to none.
Above the best, above the rest. I
very much appreciate you being in here, Sergeant, for the show. We got about 15 minutes till the top of the hour with our precious time left over. We'll keep it a little military-y for this break. We have a theater-wide training exercise, believe it or not. It's almost that time of year, right?
Yeah, and just want to talk about what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks.
Sure.
Just for 2-cab, I don't know what everybody else is going to be doing, so I just want to talk about what we're going to be doing.
There you go, count it.
And so just today, I was able to go on a flight with on a UH-60 Black Hawk with the Colonel Hank Taylor, the 2-cab commander.
Sure.
And we went and we actually picked up a Colonel Ju.
I don't know how you do it with all these names and units, by the way. It's like you have to go boop, 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 boop.
He is the 169 Rock Regimental commander.
So you could be making up numbers right now and I wouldn't know.
He works with the Rock Army Aviation Operations Center.
Okay.
And they're pretty much they're in charge of the whole Pyeongtaek AO.
Okay.
So including Osan and Camp Humphreys, if we want to do something, we have to clear it through them.
Okay.
And so we just Colonel Taylor went and talked to him, and they went over some of the different battle positions that the 169 have here in Pyeongtaek, and we actually were able to get them up in a helicopter. His first time ever being in a helicopter, so he was really excited about that.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
And just went around to a couple of different points around Pyeongtaek, so he could see from an aerial view all of his battle positions.
Yeah, give you a really good perspective.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome, and that's just in preparation for this upcoming exercise. And because a big part of the exercise is strengthening our bond with the AAOC.
Sure.
And that's one of the key missions that we have with this exercise. And then another thing is to show our wide dynamic mission set here in Korea. 2CAB, believe it or not, we have guys that are not up in helicopters.
What?
We have the guys that are going to be convoying all over the country, and because they have to get fuel and ammo to for our helicopters to different various points, strategic points, to help out the helicopters. But I mean, of course, we're going to have our awesome aviation guys out there. Flying everywhere. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna be out at TTA Tom. We're gonna be at Rodriguez Range up by Camp Casey in the DMZ. We're just gonna be everywhere, and we're gonna be covering everything that we can. So
we've talked about it in past shows, kind of how it's a great opportunity you may not have back in the States to do a training kind of this magnitude in terms of resources and personnel, etc.
Exactly. Everybody working together, that joint, combined exercise is just really a great opportunity.
And it gets a little crazy. I mean, people get a little antsy and anxious and tight and maybe short-tempered or this and that, but it's all for a good reason. I mean, we wear the uniform for a very specific reason when it gets boiled down to it.
Especially here in Korea. I mean, you got to be ready to fight tonight. I mean,
literally.
That's the facts.
And you make a good point too. Like, it's not just the people that maybe jump into your mind, like the pilots, etc., or the crew, etc. That them takes all facets of personnel to make everything kind of have that non-squeaky wheel keep moving, you know?
Exactly. I mean, we got our mechanics.
Sure.
Can't fly without those guys.
Sure.
So, I mean, they have to get this great training also. Because, I mean, we have the flights going. I mean, pilots get training all the time. I mean, but of course, we had our Katusa also this morning go, and he was able to see what we call an air assault. And what they were doing was they were flying the Chinooks.
Sure.
And they were actually flying in, connecting Humvees to the Chinooks, and then taking off with the Humvee.
Was the Katusa just like, oh my goodness, this is awesome? I imagine if he's never seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome to see something like that. So that was pretty awesome training.
Yeah, I'm excited for the exercise to kick off and all that jazz, and then even equally on the other end of it when it does go down, etc., that we can look back and say, hey, what worked, what didn't, did it go well, and all
AARs.
that. AARs. Gotta love those in the military. Well, I appreciate you being here. We'll take our final break. We'll be back in 90 seconds with your weather. It is 2:51 right now, 52 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Did I say that right? 2:52 and 52 degrees. Yes, similar. 52 right now, very warm, comfortable 52 tonight. Take 20 off, 32 degrees, partly cloudy for your evening. Moving into Thursday, a little cooler, 37, partly cloudy. If you want to trade in those presidential flashcards and get some Korean money instead, your current exchange rate.
Brought to you from your DoD Community Bank. $1 will get you 1,081 won.
Very much appreciate that. He is Army Sergeant Jesse Smith from 2CAB Land, second to none. And as we wrap up this show, if you want to get some gas for the fuel tank, exchange fuel prices unleaded $2.40, premium at $2.78, and the diesel $2.99. As we wrap up the show, Sergeant Smith, anything we missed, anything we want to highlight or do any shout-outs of sorts?
Well, I want to give a shout-out to Sergeant Major Lefaris A. Baker. He just had a change of responsibility ceremony. He changed out with a new Command Sergeant Major Smith. And they were with the 3-2 General Support Aviation Battalion. And I was actually able to MC the ceremony. And, and Sergeant Major Baker, he's just a great leader, and he will be missed. So just good luck to him, and
And you said Lefaris?
Lee Faris.
Oh, Lee Faris. That's the first and last name?
Lee Faris A. Baker.
Oh, so his first name is Lee Faris.
Yes.
I thought Lee Faris. That's probably one of the cooler Lord of the Rings names I've ever heard in my life. Lee Faris. Well, that's awesome, and the emceeing went pretty well, it sounds.
Yeah, it was the first time doing that, but I think it went great.
Sure, well, it's very cool. I appreciate you being here. As always, this is Talon Talk every single Wednesday at 2. Sometimes that'll change depending on personnel, etc. But Sergeant Smith, I appreciate having you on.
Yeah, of course.
Second to none.
Above the best, above the rest.
There we go. Let's get back to the music for now, because we've been talking a little too...